All right, once again to another episode of Sports Therapy with F.H. Jr. I am your host, Sports Therapy, and this is Dry Dock. Dry Dock that's that moment when there is no football to be watching, but we ease everybody back into the mindset of watching nothing but NFL. A little bit about the show. This show is Sports Therapy with F.H. Jr., where callers will have 2 minutes to rip, rant, call, kick some knowledge. And in case you drop an occasional F word, got the cussing bell right here. The show is entertainment and entertainment only. We don't talk politics. We don't talk sexual orientation. We don't talk race relations. All we do is talk football and have fun. I am your host, like I said. Now, the number to call if you want to be a live caller or a guest is 940-329-70. I'm sorry, 4110. Man, I should have that down about now. Now, about our show. We are going to, we hope that everything is going to be I'm hoping that everything is going to be exciting because that's how I roll. And you guys know how I do it, man. I don't like to carry the show by myself. This show is totally caller driven. In fact, I do have. I gotta tell my listeners, man. I don't just get out the bed or I don't just get off the couch and wing this show. I have notes. I have all kinds of things, but we do have some kind of like topics that I like to touch. Hopefully now, callers, you can call in and you're free to discuss anything you want as far as this football related. And sometimes doing dry dock, sometimes it don't even have to be football related. Cause I know some people might want to call and talk about last night's boxing match between Errol Spence and my man Crawford. If you want to go that route, hey, I watched the game. I can roll with you on that. But I also want to talk about my Commanders because I was going back and forth with one of my listeners on Instagram, and now we have a divided family in our Redskin football team, Commander Nation. Because we got a new owner, and there are some who say, "Hey, let's go back to Redskins." So I just kind of threw a topic out there because I want to discuss about the name. Is Redskins just as offensive as using the word? I can say the word, but that's what gets me. We got a word that's forbidden for others to say, but we can run around, kick around, and say it. So is it the same? Because there's some who want to go back to being Redskins, and me personally, I don't really have a problem with it one way, but I wouldn't mind being called Skins. Not pork skins, but skins. That way we can kind of keep with the tradition of the hogs and all that. Let's if we got to do a name change. But to be honest with you, I would rather win games. Like I tell people, if you winning games, everybody is happy. When you winning, they don't care what you call yourself. Like hey, we can be the mud pigs if we winning games. If you're not winning games, we can be the Redskins, we can be whatever, and there will still be some trying to storm the castle. So that's what I'm telling you. So tonight, hopefully, we will discuss some topics, and we're going to talk about injuries because this is training camp. Everybody should be back. In fact, I know everyone is back in training camp right now. But there are some significant injuries, and you guys know how I feel about preseason, and I got this theory about why injuries occur, and so hopefully if I get one of my callers call in and we're going to discuss that. If not, I'll just kick it around myself because my man Cool Joe got hurt. Now when Cool Joe gets hurt, when my man Joe Cool gets hurt, it's time to start looking at this thing called practice. Like my man Iverson say, practice, not the game. We talk about practice. How the hell he gonna make his teammate better? By practice. Not the game, but practice. Practice, y'all. We losing players in practice. Not the game, but practice. Oh, I love that, man. I just love that. I can listen to that all day long, man. That's just practice. Not the game, but practice. But hey, if you are listening and Hold on. Let me catch my first call. Let's see what we got. Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr.
Hello?
Hey, Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr. Caller, I want to ask you a question because, as I was saying, I was telling my listeners, I want to know, is the word Redskins, is it just as offensive as using the N word? And
I think so. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, oh no, and we and we also gonna talk a little bit about football injuries because that's what's going around. But I want to know from you, what do you think about that?
Well, man, I can see, yeah, I can see where the word Redskins will be offensive, That's, yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, because
That's another.
yeah, and see, and I tell my listeners, if you in fact, I'm gonna post this show, and you can see, man, I'm decked out in my my dry dye dry dyed redskin. I I really wouldn't have a problem if we, and that's what I want my listeners to know. I'm not advocating for not being called the Redskins. I'm advocating for the fact that do we have the right to be called Redskins because it offends people. And so that's why I'm on that. Now, there's this thing about, well, the Native Americans are okay with it. So here's the thing: if I find 20 people to be okay with me using the word nigga, is that gonna be okay? If I get 200, even if I get 10,000 people to be okay with that word, um, it's still gonna
No,
right.
because there's always the opposition. No, there's always just because some people say that it's okay doesn't mean that there's not somebody out there. Even with the word Redskins, doesn't mean that somebody's out there who's out there that does not take offense to that. That's not cool.
I got you.
So it's not woke. It's just being,
That woke.
come on. It's just what it is.
Is we wake or is we woke? but But I also have to say this because on my show I tell people we will never really get into real race relations talk because at the end of the day we still want to be the place where people can go and just kind of get away from all things race. But I want to say this: can can we have a word that only one race can use and bar everybody else from using the word? It's like, okay, hey, you can't say the N word, but I can say the N word, but you can't say the N word. But it ain't offensive if I say the N word. I think, and I was telling one of my, I was going back and forth with one of my listening audience who was, we were going back and forth on Instagram, and what I told him, I said, hey, look, I'm much older than you, and I'm not trying to take you to task, but what I'm saying is that the word, the N word, will never be accepted by my generation and those who came before me because of what we knew it stood for. Um, because his whole thing was, hey, look, man, you know, I don't care if you use the word. You can call me the N word all day long. I won't get offensive, so I'm gonna keep using Redskin. I'm not for not using the word Redskin. My deal is that it's to me and the league. The league really don't care about offending people as much as the league care about sponsors. Those are the people who pay the bills, and the sponsors are saying, nah, it's a new generation. They're not having it, and we never. Be honest, we are never gonna go back to being Redskins. That's how that's my take.
Yeah, I agree with them. It's it. That's done. I'm sorry. Sorry, but it's what it is. I'm sorry.
And every time
And
somebody,
I like my football team. That was cool.
yes, I mean I still got my gear. I always got my gear on, and I will forever wear my gear. Um, and I was telling someone that, in my real job, I'm a counselor. And years ago, I remember I was wearing my redskin hat, and one of my little my students who's Native American, she came up and she said, "Hey, she said, hey, I don't like it when people call me Redskin. That was the first time that it really sunk into me that, hey, this there's something wrong with this, you know? Because from my perspective, I'm like, hey man, I'm a Redskin, and hey, I ain't see. But that was now I've always knew that, hey, and I stopped using Redskin as much as I would just refer to myself and my team as skins. And in my mind, I had like made a mind shift to the when I say skins, I'm talking about pig skins and foot. But at the end of the day, hey, like you said, it's wrong.
Yeah. Back to football.
Yeah. Because like I said, we're never gonna really get that deep into it. It's just that every time when we mention name change of my team, my the Redskins, as we mentioned name change, somebody always get into, well, we're gonna go back to being such and such, and then we end up with such a divided family. We end up with such a divided family, and there are some people who are really passionate about it. And that was like, hey man, just because we got new ownership doesn't mean we're gonna go back to being the Redskins. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And I'm kind of getting cool with the word Commanders, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does have a different ring to it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So now let's talk football. Let's talk football.
Thank you.
Let's talk practice, like Iverson say, practice,
All right.
not the game. We're gonna talk practice, not the game, but practice, because we're gonna make your team made better with practice. So this was a first full week of training camp. Everybody and their mama is in training camp. Most training camps are open. We got fans there. They're open to the fans and all that good stuff. But whenever you have training camp, you will have injuries. And that's the concern. It's like, okay, um, how do we get through training camp? How do we get through the preseason without losing a vital part of our team? So now I'm going to do a roll call here of teams and players who are injured. You may know some, you may not. But here we go. The Dolphins, their cornerback. Now the Dolphins picked up cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Now Jalen Ramsey, he is, to be honest, he's probably the number one overall cornerback in the league, and then they got him from the Rams. Once the Rams won that Super Bowl, they had a going out of business sale. They pretty much got rid of all those veterans. They did, man. Because here's the thing about football. You see, I will always tell people this, and this is here's my theory: is when you get a good team, I see it as a window. I tell people, you have 3 years to win a Super Bowl when you have a good team. You got 3 years. That means normally if you got you have your quarterback, you have everything you need to win. Doesn't mean that they're gonna automatically give you a Super Bowl, but you got to me you have 3 years to get it done. Your window is open. And once that window starts to come down and once it closes, that's it. And so that's how it was with the Rams. Remember, they went picked up Matthew Stafford from they got him off of the off the scrap heap and, for Detroit. They picked up him. They had who's the receiver that used to be for the Giants, always kicking, always complaining, and he's not with the Giants no more. Oh God, what's my man name? So they had everything they needed, and they picked up Jalen Ramsey. They won a Super Bowl, okay? But guess what? You got to start paying all those guys, and so they knew they couldn't pay them, so they had to make deals. Either they trade some of them away, they let some of them walk away. So Jalen ends up playing for this year will be his first year for the Miami Dolphins. Guess what? He gets hurt, and looks like he is going to be out for a significant amount of time. Yes, in fact, he had surgery. He had a knee injury. Now I know everybody's saying,
Woo.
"Oh, it's the meniscus and all that." But look, I'm no doctor. I don't play one on TV. I just drink Dr Pepper. But whenever you have surgery on your knee, you are going to be out for a while. So that's a major injury. You talk about
Right.
the best cornerback in the league. He's out. He's out. Cowboys. Yep, the Cowboys. Cowboys lost Donovan Wilson. He's a safety. And one thing about the boys, people think I don't like the Cowboys. Well, I really, yeah, well, it is what it is. I just love my team, and the Cowboys
Right.
are in my conference, so I'm always gonna cheer against them. It's just what we do. Okay, but I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt because at the end of the day, they all got families to feed, they got careers, man, and they all there to entertain us on Sundays. But Donovan Wilson,
Right.
he's out. Let me see what happened to him. He's out with a calf sprain. People don't realize when you sprain your calf muscle. They're like, it's just a
Yeah.
sprain, he'll be out. No, 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 because guess what's attached to that calf? Achilles. Yes, and when you start to, a lot of times when you strain your calf, you're gonna be out at a minimum, at least a month, maybe two. And and that's the type of injury that lingers all year long, and it's just and that's an injury Dak had, and he was out. So you got guys being hurt. You got the Chief lost one of their running backs, Tony, um, C.J. Gardner Johnson. He's out, and these are players that has a significant impact on the game. Um, so I'm saying, here's my theory, and I told people I was going to share my theory and this is just my theory. I'm not a doctor, but this is my theory. I think, to me, athletes, when you are a good athlete, it's just like a rubber band. I think you can get into so much condition till you like stretching a rubber band, and a rubber band can only stretch so far to eventually what happens to it.
It's enough.
Yes, it snaps. So I think when we get these guys operating at the top of what their body potential, I think it's just a matter of time till it snaps, and that's why these guys only have that small window to be top notch before they start to get injured. Now, my theory is, as an athlete, you don't ever want to when you get out in the field, yes, you want to go 110%. But when you're training and doing all that, I think you probably need to train at only 85% maximum. And that way, when you're lifting weights, instead of lifting 300 pounds 25 times, hell, just lift 300 pounds 15 times. Because at the end of the day, hell, you lifting 300 pounds, it doesn't make a difference. But it's just that when you start to stretch the body so far and so long, eventually it snaps. And I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of these injuries, especially with some of the younger folk.
And you risk injuring
Yep.
before the season gets started.
Yep. Yep. And then people like you and I are pissed off because first thing we gonna say is, man, there goes the season. There goes the season. Now, one significant injury that I haven't covered here, is Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow.
What?
Yes, yep. Joe Burrow, and he is going to be out. Let me read this article here. It says Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow injured at practice. Bengals coach Zach Taylor. This is what he said on Friday. He says, "Now I watched some snippets of the injury. His injury, it's a calf injury, but it was non-contact, and that's the worst. When you get injured and you're not tackling anybody, and you're not getting hit, that's not good. That usually means you're gonna be out a while, to the point to where they're expecting him to miss probably maybe the first 3 or 4 games.
Of the real season,
Yeah,
regular season.
yeah, yep,
Oh,
yep. Regular season.
that'll be interesting to watch.
Yes, yep. So when we talk injuries, man, it's it is what it is. It is what it is. When we talk injuries, so that's where I come down on that, man. I just know that, and you know how I feel about the preseason. but this Thursday will be the first preseason game. Do you think any starters are going to play Thursday?
I hope not. I don't think so. Maybe
No.
for a few minutes, probably. I don't know. I doubt it, though, right?
The way things are going,
Everybody's talking about
the way things are going now. Jay, let me tell you something. I went, and like I tell people, this is Dry Dock. We mostly talk about football, little life or whatever, because this is easing people back into the mindset of football watching. So I went and I watched the movie Barbie. You hear me, Jay?
Yeah.
I went and I watched, and let me tell you why I'm saying this. Because yes, I'm making a joke, because that's what I do. I joke. There was a scene in Barbie where they were trying to catch her. And I'm not gonna give the movie away because I don't know if there's some people who haven't went and seen it yet. But there was this part where they were trying to put Barbie back into her box, in the doll box. And I'm thinking,
But
is that's what's gonna come down to in the NFL? Are we gonna have to put some of our best players, like our quarterbacks? Are we gonna have to put them back into the box until the start the start of the real season?
come on now.
Huh?
Come on now. We ain't talking about no glass doll now. Come on.
Are we gonna have to put them back
Come
on
on
ice?
now.
In other words,
Nah,
they are so
right.
fragile. We can't let them get hurt. We got to put them back in the box.
Come on.
Jay, we got to put them back in the box. We can't have them getting hurt. You see what happened when we let the Barbies come out? They get hurt.
There is another option. You just said you can reduce, can reduce what you do during practice.
True, but look at my man Joe Burrs. He wasn't doing anything. He was just running. He wasn't tackling. Quarterbacks wear a specific jersey that designates them to where you can't even touch them. So he got hurt just warming up. Put him
I
back.
still don't think a box
Put
like
him-
the Barbie dolls
Put
is a good option, though. So there, a little too far right there. And they ain't collectibles. Come on now.
Got to put him back in the box. And there's this scene, and I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but there's this scene where they had Barbie when they were finna put her back in the box. And I don't know if you remember those little arm ties that they would tie their arms, that they tied it back.
Right. Right.
And so when they were about to put Barbie's little arms back into those little arm ties, she managed to get away and get out of her box. So we need to
Really?
we need to put
Down now. Like a doll.
we need to put all our quarterbacks and our main players, man, back in their little Barbie boxes so they don't get hurt until. Just like, open your toys up at the Christmas time and play with them. So we can't let them go out and whew, I don't lost it having that.
Yeah, you did. You went too far with this. Come on now.
But we got to make sure that they are ready by game day Yeah, so we can't have them out getting hurt. One guy, I think he got hurt at home, and he got hurt at home. I think it's a non-football injury, so I don't know what happened. So now, we gotta like keep them locked up in bed in their bedroom so they don't get hurt. I don't know, man. It's wild and woolly. It is wild and woolly. Well, Jay, thank you for calling and go watch the movie Barbie, man. And give us a book report on that the next time you call. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks for
All right.
calling.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's discover Crown Royal blended Canadian whiskey, patiently blended and made for a king since 1939. After a long day of crime fighting, man, I look for and I reach for a bottle of Crown Royal. And you know what I say? I say what I always say. Hey, crown me, baby. Crown Royal. Drink Crown Royal responsibly. And remember, if you are a minor, you should never be drinking Crown Royal. If you are not a minor, you should always be drinking Crown Royal. All right. Once again, if you are just tuning in and you want to know what the hell am I listening to, this is Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr. where callers get 2 minutes to rip, rant, kick some knowledge about all things NFL related. The number to call is 940-329-4110. And that is our number. You call, I will put you on the air and you can just you can go for it, man. This is Dry Dock. And when I say this is Dry Dock, now I'm not gonna lie, I stole the term. I stole the term from my sister station, 1310 The Ticket. Yeah, because that's what they do, man. When there's nothing going on, they kind of like, So, what's in a word, man? So yes, in Dry Dock, we will talk a little bit about any topic. Now we try to stay football related, but as they say in church, if you got a song in your heart and you want to sing, come on, let's we can make that happen. Remember, 940-329-4110. That's the number to call if you want to be a guest on the show. Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr. What callers get 2 minutes to rip, rant, kick some knowledge about all things NFL. Now, today, the topics that we have been talking about is the name Redskins. Is it just as offensive as using the N-word? When it comes to my Commanders, my Commanders, we got new ownership. And that's the reason I'm talking about that, because as I was saying, we have a divided family. Most of us, and I understand. Hell, I've been a fan for over 52 years. I know, man. I'm double dipped and triple dipped in in my fandom, and I have look. I'm very nostalgic. I love Redskin, man. Hell to the Redskins. I love the Redskin fight song. I love all that stuff. I really do. But it brings me to mind when I had a friend that when I was living out west, and in his high school, they were called the Rebels. And every time their football team would score a touchdown, they would play the song Look Away in Dixieland. And I would burn him up because they would always talk, everybody singing, I wish I was in the land of cotton. Look away, look away. Man, that would run. And it really didn't bother me. And as my eyes opened up a little bit more, I realized, okay, it offended him. So for those who say, well, all we got to do is just get us about, I don't know, 200 or 300. I think we have a petition going around, yes. And I'm not, and you hear me say it, I'm cool whichever way that if they want to go back to being Redskins, I'm cool with it. But I don't think it's ever coming back because two things. Sponsors are not going to support it. The league is not going to support it. And there is a generation of there's a generation that's just not going to they're not going to support being called the Washington Redskins. We're going to have to do something different. Whether we change our names back from Commanders to the football team to whatever, there's some names that are being floated out: Red Wolves, Red Hogs, whatever. I'm cool, man. Just at the end of the day, let's win some games. Let's win some damn games. If we win some games, nobody cares really what you call yourself. We got to win some games, because if we're not winning games, we can call each other all we want, but we got to start winning some games. And if we're not winning games, yeah, it is what it is. But I like what I'm seeing out of my man Sam Howell. I can't wait to I can't wait to the Hall of Fame game. I think we got the Jets playing. I believe they're squaring off against the Browns. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Want to see the debut, even though I know he's not gonna get to play. I wouldn't mind seeing him blow the cobwebs off of my man Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. I know that's not going to happen, but you know what? It's a big build-up. I know there's going to be plenty of conversation going on about Aaron Rodgers, good or bad. I know in Green Bay land, this is for the debut of my man Jordan Love. The car is his. He can either drive it or drive it off the cliff, but hell, it's his car. So he's got the keys to the kingdom at Green Bay. Well, I'm waiting. Can't wait to see what they're going to do. 49ers, I think there's going to be a little quarterback controversy there. My man Brock Purdy's coming back off of injury, but what do you do about the past quarterback? The previous quarterback. Hell, he was a high draft pick. So, then we got my man Carr is a new quarterback for the Saints. So all you who-datters now. I have been looking at some stats, and I don't know how people do this, but there's some people that and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really get into football data analytics like a lot of people do. I try to come from the head and from the heart and from now I do I put some work in, but I'm not I don't go about this job like I'm getting a PhD. And there are some who do. Analytics is good. We call them central tendencies. For those on the defensive side of the ball, they spend hours upon hours studying tape, studying their opponent, studying anything to give them an edge. And hey, that's what analytics does for you. Hey man, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, data don't tackle. Data don't run. Data don't make juke moves in the end zone. Data don't get open. Data just tells you this is what the central tendencies are saying. If you do this X, your result should be Y. But it is what it is on along those lines, though, man. Like I said, I don't really get into a lot of the data, but at the end of the day, man, I'm just an old school football fan, and this is just a show for old school football people and new school football people. Data's cool. Data's all that. I love data. But you still got to build those relationships, and you still got to block and tackle, and the name of the game is winning. But I'm there are those who pick in our division, the NFC East. They're picking the Eagles to repeat as conference champion, and followed by the Cowboys. It got my Commanders picked to finish third and the Giants last. Now, if you know anything about the NFC East, no team has repeated as winning the conference. So I know damn well that's not going to happen. We ain't finna have that new. The Jags, I expect big things out of the Jags. In fact, I talked to a guy, a good he was one of my fans, listeners, I should say. I don't have fans, but he was one of my listeners and stuff. He's a Jacksonville Jag, man. He had a lot to say too, man. I hope to have him call in one day, because he's on a different in different time zone than where we are. Where we come at 7:00 Eastern. Where we come at 7:00 Central. They roll in on the Eastern deal, so they're always going to be an hour ahead of us, I believe. Yeah. And so, but he's a good dude, man. I like to have him on because he has some good. He kicks some good knowledge about his Jags, and they expect him to do some good things. I think this is going to be the year where that quarterback finally has a breakthrough and start reaching his potential. I think that's going to happen. Um, I don't think, and I'm not the only one that's thinking this. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be that good. You know, it's. I think it's going to be a long year for the Cardinals. I can see that happening. Yeah, my Cardinals. It's gonna be a long, 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 long year for the Cardinals. But we shall see how it goes. I got a call trying to get in. Let me see what's going on here. But like I was saying, my even though I was being facetious and joking around and all that, I still say injuries will play a big part of, and it always does. Because that's the one factor that you really can't figure in when we're trying to decide who is going to be doing what, how far each team is going to go. Because me, I would rather have my injuries at the beginning. I'd rather have my injuries at the beginning and get it over with instead of getting them at the end because injuries are going to come. And then it's just a matter of who gets injured. Are you losing some players in key positions? And that's what it comes down to. You know, that's what we got going on. So it's all good, man. And as I was saying, um, this is Dry Doc, and we talk about all kinds of things, but it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be a good year. I think there are gonna be some surprises. I think a lot of things are gonna get done. Um, I think a lot of some of the teams that we think are gonna go for. I think there are gonna be some disappointments. And I think there are gonna be some surprises. I think there are gonna be some surprises. There are gonna be some teams that we're not expecting them to rise up. And I think that in itself is gonna be something else. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be this, And me, I'm ready for some football, man. This is what we do. I mean, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Um, will I be disappointed? Well, I would be, and I'm realistic about my team. Uh, I think we'll win 9 games. If we win 10, I will be ecstatic. If we don't win at least 9 games, then I would be for cleaning house and going in a totally new direction with our coaching staff. That's just me now, and I tell people when I call in on this show, I'm a fan, just like everybody else. Man, I am a fan. I am a fan first, expert second. First, I am a true blue card carrying fan. Yuppers, yuppers. I am a fan. I'm gonna look at. Gonna get back to this injury report because let's see here. Oh, I think we got some technical difficulties. Yup. Okay, I'm gonna have to make some calls. Let's get this. Turn my volume down here real quick.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line. Enter your 6-digit PIN number. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
Hello? Hello?
Sports therapy, F.A. Jr.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, we had those technical difficulties. I tell people when we're dealing with technology, sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah, you know how it is, brother.
But hey, we're up and running, and we're good. So, my brethren,
Hey, that's a good thing.
my homeboy Glenn. What's going on?
With you, my brother?
Man, I'm trying to stay out the heat. I don't rinse and repeat.
I see you, brother. Man, it's too hard to fry fish right now.
That's hot, bro. Cause you gotta get hot. You gotta get fish grease pretty hot before you can fry fish.
Well, it's about almost right there.
So,
it's almost right there.
Homeboy Glenn. You know, this is Dry Dock, and I tell my listeners, man, on Dry Dock, there is not a specific topic that we talk about, you know, and I even let my caller, hey, if callers want to talk about whatever, hey man, we just get it and go, we make it do what it do. Now when football season starts, yeah, sure, we'll stick to the format. But right now, we just kind of roll with the flow. And one of the things that I was talking to one of my callers about, I was telling them that now that my Commanders, we don't got traded. I mean, we got a new owner, and everybody talking about, oh, we going back to being the Redskins again. So my question was, and I tell people, look, it's not that I got anything against being called a Redskin, because if we can go back to being the Skins, man, I'm for it. But my deal is, I was telling people, and this is just my opinion, and my question I was asking, is the word Redskin just as offensive as using the N-word?
I would say yes, but, you know, the way I look at it, man, you know, what we grew up at, where we come from, man, growing up, you know, it didn't bother us. You know, we never knew nothing about nothing like that.
Right.
It just we were just looking at the football team.
Right.
We never had no idea.
None.
That the word Redskin, when we said the Redskins thousands of times, that it was offending somebody. You know, because we never were taught that.
I'll tell you one reason. we didn't have any Native Americans around. You remember?
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't mean to be insensitive, but you know, let's be honest. The way we grew up, it was just black and white folks. There wasn't even in our little town. There wasn't even Hispanics.
No, it wasn't no Hispanics. That's what I'm saying.
No.
You know, hell, it was about junior high before I first seen them Mexico come to our school, I think.
Yes.
I was like 7th, 8th grade, maybe.
Yeah. I remember we got a family came in. They were migrant workers, and they came in and they had some kids that were in our they were our grade level. And but like you said, we had very little context of hell. We didn't know what was what. Like you said, I never even knew that Redskins was a bad term, man. I like hell. It was my football team. It was my football team, man.
That's all I told. Yeah, when I say Redskins and Cowboys,
right?
You know, football. That's the first thing we thought about. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
we're living in a time now. You know, we're living in a time now. Anything, just about have to watch what you say it on anything now.
Oh, true.
Because because people take things so serious about anything. It cause you to lose your job, your careers, and everything over something really ain't nothing but a word.
Right. Because I was talking to I'm starting to see some of my Hispanic kids, and even some of my white kids at my job. They'll use the N-word in a minute, but my point of it is, you can't have a word where one race own the word and everybody else can't say it. Just like if you using the word in rap music and whatever, so how you expect the kid to sing your rap song and he buying your music and he can't say the song out in public? How much sense does that make?
That don't make no sense at all. Don't make no kind of sense.
Make none whatsoever. All right. So now we don't get we.
No, go ahead.
So now let's talk football.
Go
man.
ahead, I'm still stuck. I'm still stuck from last night.
I know. We gonna transition to that because I watched that fight too. But hey, let's talk injuries, man. Let's talk NFL injuries, man. Have you been keeping up with who's hurt and who's not?
Yes, boy from the Dolphins, Ramsey.
Yes, he got to have surgery,
and,
man.
The boy from Cincinnati.
Yep, Joe Burrs.
Yeah, and they said Joe Burrs. How some people take things. I hadn't heard nobody come out and say it, but but saying that some people take it like he might not be ready until the start of the regular season.
Well, some are saying that
with their calf injury,
Some are saying he may miss. He may be out 2 or 3 months because when you think about the calf, and what brings me to mind when I think about the calf, KD. You remember KD?
And Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and they came back too soon, and then all of a sudden that led to them tearing up that Achilles.
Yep.
And so.
But it looked like Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati quarterback did the same thing KD and Kobe did when they tore theirs.
Yep.
Like they kind of look back like somebody threw at them and hit them or something.
And see, they say when you tear your Achilles, that's what it feels like. Somebody shoot you in the leg. You first day you looked up, you're like, man, who shot me? Yeah. And and so it looks like what gets me sometime, Glenn, is when guys get injured when it's non-contact. That's usually that's a more serious injury there, man. It's like you're not even engaging in anybody. You're not in contact. You just like Joe Burrow. He was just running by himself, man. And next thing I know, he went down. He went down.
Yeah, same thing with Kyle Murray from the Cardinals quarterback.
Yep.
He had a non-contact injury.
Yep.
He's not going to be ready for the regular season, I don't believe.
Yep. And that's
Jalen Ramsey, you never know about what his might be like.
Well, they're talking knee when it comes to him, man. They're talking a meniscus that he's already had a surgery on his knee. They're talking knee injury for him, because anytime you going in and you doing anything with that knee, man, that's unless you getting like a knee scope or a cleaning, those guys may come back in like 2 or 3 weeks because all they're doing is just kind of like doing a little cut on the top and cleaning out some stuff. But when you talk about going in and repairing ligaments and stuff like that, oh no, man, you gonna be out a minute because you got to go to rehab. You got to rehab that knee. And my man C.J. Garner Johnson, he's out.
Yeah, I forgot about him. That's a big injury too.
Now I'll tell you,
man, I was looking at the depth. I'm sorry about cutting you off.
Yeah, no, you looking at what?
At the depth of. I was looking at Detroit Lions starting lineup on offense. Man, they are solid, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they solid. They solid, man.
And that's what I tell people. I said, when you get these teams like the Cowboys who've been good for 4 or 5 years, I say, hey, you're not gonna be good forever. That window, I personally think the window for the Cowboys has closed. Now they still may have a good team, but I think that window they win the Super Bowl. Now, I think that window will close on them. Now, I think it's wide open for the Eagles and a couple other teams. But they better because you get 3 years to get it done. After 3 years, you're going to have to pay your players. You guys start to get a little bit older, your defensive line, and all of a sudden, you get 3 years to get it done. If you don't get it done in 3 years, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, I wish the Cowboys season go like Earl Spence night went last night.
Hey, let's talk. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk boxing. Now,
Ain't nothing to talk about.
hey,
Hey, I'm disappointed. I didn't see that coming, brother.
man, nobody saw that coming. Nobody. In fact,
Man, I don't know. Man, Spence looked like he was smoking gas coming out of there last night.
Man,
Like he ain't never saw bright lights before. It looked like he was high as hell.
man, I think what happened was they spent so much time studying Spence. They realized they studied him because see what I tell people, it's just like you get somebody that's a good team on offense, like the Eagles. I tell people, defensive coordinators spend the whole summer looking at nothing but film, looking at ways that they can stop you.
Everything.
Yes. And so
everything.
They looked at what's called your tendencies. What do? They always do this. They do this, they do this, they do this. So Crawford team did the same with Spence. What they did, they noticed that he just comes straight forward. He just he had no lateral movement. So his deal was okay. He coming straight at me.
Spence, they got the one game plan.
Yes, yes, that was his right.
They got one game plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do Crawford like that.
Nope. And Crawford.
Ain't nobody out there whoop Crawford right now.
And Crawford had
nobody out there whooping right now.
He had the ideal game plan. Let old boy come. I'm gonna stick him with this jab, and I'm gonna counter punch everything he doing. Now here's the advantage that Crawford had, and they explained it that Crawford is really right-handed, but he broke his hand when he was a kid. So he was trained because when his hand was broke, he became his mom. They made him use his left. So when he was jabbing old boy in the face with his right, he was really jabbing him with his strong hand, but his left was just as strong. And that's where he was getting Spence, because he was eating him up with that jab. Most people, when they throw a jab, it's just a little flicking jab.
Man, boy, I'm talking about, boy, look at him. He had him looking like Martin Lawrence one time. You had to give him out there.
I remember that. I remember that episode. Yeah, I remember that episode, man. They had him all swole up.
Whoop Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now let me.
Boy, hey, I'm gonna tell you what.
Let me ask you this question: do you think the referee stopped the fight too soon?
Hey man, he could have stopped the fight earlier.
Yeah, he sure could.
Well, if he hadn't, he would have got hurt, man.
Yeah, cause that
dude, Spence, when Spence got knocked down that second time.
Yeah,
really, he could have stopped the fight then. Spence didn't have no fight left in him.
In the 8th round, when he knocked Spence down at the end of that 8th round, and he got saved by the bell, oh boy, could have stopped it then.
Yep,
he could have stopped it then.
That's right. You heard what Crawford? You see what Crawford did after he knocked him out, did you?
Yeah, yeah.
He ran over there, told Jamel Charlo, "You next."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I tell you what.
Boy, that's a bad boy right now.
But you know what I like?
Bad boy right now.
What did you watch the fight at, man? Tell me about your fight plan, man.
I went on one of my friends' house last night.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was on the menu, man? What was your game meal?
Man, let's see what I had. What we had, man. They had like sandwiches and different things. Like, wasn't nothing special. Chicken wings.
Okay.
And sandwiches and chips and you know me. My menu was a Michelob Ultra.
It's always on the menu.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was on my menu. They had a big long food of Michelob Ultra.
I feel you, bro.
By the time the fight come on, I was feeling pretty good.
I got you, dog. Because I was like...
But what did you have good, brother?
You know, first I said that I was going to go to Buffalo Wild Wing because I talked to you and I say, man, I'm going ahead and just kind of, park on one of those bar and sip my favorite drink, give me some Crown. And then I said, you know what? Nah, I'm going to stay at the crib. and I'm gonna rent the fight. I'm gonna stay at the crib, and I'm just gonna do what I do, man. So I'm like you, man. I had some chicken wings, man, and that's what I did, man. I ordered the fight, got me some chicken wings, man. Just because I'm at the point, man, and I know it's gonna sound bad. Sometimes, man, I just like being at the house, watching
No, that's me, man. That's what I like to do. It's not, hey, man, we're getting older now. Things that's like, we ain't out here running around with these young bucks no more.
Nah.
We ain't into that type of lifestyle. So, like, to us right now, life is boring. But I love it, though.
Yeah.
I love that boring lifestyle.
The
only thing I don't like is these damn mosquitoes down here.
Only thing I did, man, I just vegetated at the crib, man. I was at the crib, man. I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I'm chilling. Hey, man, that's what I was doing, man. That's all I did.
Yeah, that's hey, but man, that's the fight came on kind of earlier than I thought. I thought it'd probably be after 11 o'clock.
Right.
Before it came on.
Right. And then,
yeah, but it came on by like 10:30, 10:35, 10:40.
Right, because normally you got to sit there and watch all them undercards and then da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Then the real fight usually, like you said, don't start kicking off to like 11 o'clock or like, man, hell. But nah. And it went kind of fast. You know what I liked about those two guys, man, is that they were actually there fighting. They didn't, nobody ran around and, they getting like, okay, we've been here jabbing each other for like 6 rounds now. Nah. From round 1, they start going at it, and it was like, okay.
Yeah, it did. And I tell you what, there wasn't too much trash talk. Terrence Crawford don't do a lot of trash talking. That's what I like about him.
Nah.
He speaks here with his. I tell you what, he's the only guy I see in the last, 20, 25 years will give Floyd Mayweather more problems than anybody out there.
Oh, yeah.
In that division, he will give Floyd problems.
Oh, he
wouldn't be surprised if he get a split decision for Floyd.
No, he'd beat Floyd. Yeah.
Pacquiao couldn't whoop him in his prime because his body's strong. Man, he got a strong body. His body structure.
Right.
Yeah, man, he got dynamite inside them little pounds of him.
Well, homeboy Glenn,
he got a mean streak too.
I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you on the other end. But we finna close this bad boy down. But I'm gonna talk to you on the other end, and we're gonna continue this conversation off the air. All right, for those who listen to my show, this has been Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr. I'd like to thank my homeboy Glenn. Shout out from Jay in Grand Prairie. I'd like to thank all the listeners on it, those who listen to me in Mario, England, and all over the United States. I'd like to thank the country kinfolk, those in the great state of Arkansas, and those on the yard. Stay golden, baby. We will see you next week.